By the way. This is actually an important video. Brief little history lesson. I'll try to keep this under like 20 seconds or less. Try to anyway. All throughout history, it's been the case, indisputable, that every branch of science in every country, whether it be Russia, Academia Nauk, Academy of Sciences, or Fermilab, or anywhere, throughout ancient history to modern times, they all thought they had a firm grip on truth and natural order, cosmic mechanics. Oh, yeah, we got it now, finally. And every time, they were wrong. Absolutely every single time. Yeah. Humanity has been de-evolving intellectually. I have been for many years. I call it Generation iPad. I got an iPad. You know, all the information has been pre-filtered, you know, because we don't want people digesting crazy information, even though it may be true, but it doesn't fit the narrative, of course. This is actually very, very important, and this is personal for me. However, I'm not taking this video personal. That two buddies of mine, one named Steve, I don't want to give his last name, and the other named Mark, they were actually offed by, technically, M-U-R-D-E-R-E-D. Yes, they were ended by the belief in the science. Yeah, the hospital, they believed people that wear white lab coats and stick little, lots of little pins in their little Poindexter pockets. Yeah, like if you got more than 4 pins, well, that guy, he got 4 pins in his pocket. And it's even better if you got a little slide rule. It'd be even better like back in the day. You smoked a pipe like this. Yes, and you had a pin in your pocket. Yes. Oh, okay, professor, doctor. People, the only real, I should say, good thing to actually come out of the past few years is that people that were suckered by the science, and I'm going to attack the science here in a second, is that people are a lot more wide awake than they were, but really, I mean, more so than they were before, several years ago, but it's still absolutely horrific. I mean, let's just be honest with each other. People are just, they're just way too gullible. It's very, very unfortunate. What is the old saying that says it's like 100 times easier to fool somebody than it is to take someone that's already been fooled and to convince them that they have been fooled. People just, they don't want to believe it. Anyway, my two friends were done in and are 6 feet under now by believing in others who told them to follow the science. By the way, there's no such thing as the science. Yeah. I don't need to go back to the Greek and Aristotelian original denotation of the term science. It's about looking, you know, for trying to dissuade. It's ever moving, and people use, unfortunately, these past many years, but all, you know, basically the past 100 years, the science. They used to say that. There's even made a movie about it. It's called the Radium Girls. They would paint watch dials. They'd with radioactive radium. Yeah, and the bristles would flail out every time they'd use it, and so to make the bristles come back to a point again, they lick the end of the brush and then dip it back in the radium. And there's these horrible women that just it was horrible. I mean, their jaws literally fell off. And that was the science back then. We've had all these things throughout history where people say, this is the science. But there is no such thing as the science. If you said, I'm interested in facts, logic, and wisdom, you know, then that would be correct. It's like, well, this is not proven yet. For years now, for the past, since 2019, I won't say what it is, but you could probably guess, it's perfectly safe. It's like, excuse me, sir. There's absolutely no long-term study of this stuff on Earth, and yet you're telling me this is safe. There's not one single long-term study, because a long-term study would, by definition, generally be like 5 years or more. It's safe, follow the science! I made that crazy face intentionally. Follow the science! There's no such thing as the science. The science doesn't exist. That's like a monolithic godhead where someone's, you know, oh, a big god, be fearful. That's religion. That's a belief system. You know, there's no such thing as the science. It doesn't exist. It's not a fixed entity. There's no such thing as the science. I know I'm repeating myself, but there's not. The belief that something is the science is what ended my two friends and why they're 6 feet under, and countless hundreds of thousands of other people. I'm not referring to anything specifically. However, in the case of my two friends, I guess I am, but people need this. This is applicable across the board to a million different things. You think I'm singling out what's happened in the past few years. I mean, I did there for a few minutes, but this is applicable to everything. Currently, science is atomistic quantum, which is relativity. Yeah, this belief in atomism. Mother Nature's got a bag of bumping particles. That's what nature is. Bumping particles. Call it the cult of bumping particles. Currently, that's the science. Oh, the science! All PhD people agree. It's like a bunch of dogs sniffing each other's behind. One dog sniffs the dog's behind in front of him, and that dog sniffs the dog's behind in front of him, and it just goes around in a circle. I agree with you. Yours smells as good as mine. Yeah, mine smells as good as yours, too. We're all in agreement with each other. That's not facts, logic, or wisdom. This notion that there's this fixed monolith that if you get enough PhD people, whatever the imaginary number is, hey, we got 12, I'm not going to refer to some little short guy, who actually, by the way, is on record. You could find videos of him. His name means fake energy, faux chi. He actually said on video, his exact words were, I am the science. I mean, that's as evil as what some cult leader would say. Manson, Jim Jones. He actually said that. Because I knew how evil this person was, but right on national TV, I am the science! He actually said that. If you don't believe me, I can find the videos. There's hundreds of thousands of copies out there. I am the science! Let's just forget about the egotism right there for a second, okay? There's no such thing as the science. People actually out there believe that if you get enough people in white lab coats with PhDs can agree upon it. It must be the truth. All throughout history, this has occurred. People believe that ages ago, however, it's made a resurgence lately, that the Earth is shaped like this, shaped like a pancake. Well, that's just ridiculous. You know, that was the science ages ago. It's starting to make a comeback, however, not to anybody that, you know, has a half a mind. All sorts of, you know, you were to free somebody of evil spirits by dropping leeches on them. You know, you're gonna, or trepanation, which I don't know if you know what trepanation is. Like, you're gonna let the evil spirits out of a person's head. You take a little piece of bone into someone's forehead and let the evil spirits out. That's the science. How dare you question me, sir? I am PhD, magna cum laude from Princeton University. That's the science. I've had encounters like that with people the past few years. Very, 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 very unintelligent people telling me, you'll actually state an empirical fact to them. And they follow the science! They have no interest. That's no different, than going into the middle of some Catholic church, for example, or any church. You say, this is just ridiculous nonsense. How dare you? You'll be smited. You're going to hell, boy. It's like, no, there's nothing. There's no proof of this. It's illogical. It's untenable. It's not factual. It's not demonstrable. There's no such thing as the science. Yeah. Many, many, many countless things have been considered the science over the past, since the dawn of time. The earth is shaped like a pancake, or that, you let the evil spirits out by doing trepanation on someone's skull, or all sorts of ridiculous. There's even made a quack video, movie about it. It's called The Road to Wellville. It's about Kellogg, the guy that invented Kellogg's cornflakes. He invented this place for crazy people to go, and there's all sorts of medical quackery devices that were actually invented by doctors. I saw a video today about, created by a lawyer, and I don't want to say what the device is. This device is extremely illegal. The government is raiding the houses of people that bought this device, which I heard about it on the news today. I never heard of the device before, but as soon as I knew how it worked, well, that's totally illegal. And yet you have a prominent lawyer here. Well, in my legal opinion, he kept saying legal opinion. He is a prominent lawyer. I looked the guy up, but everything he said was just ridiculous. It's just blatantly illegal. People need to stop putting faith into other people because they're a doctor or they're a lawyer. Lawyers are more interested in bleeding people for their money, not really solving problems. 99% of them are anyway. Particle theory, pancake earth theory, Big Bang theory. Big Bang, by the way, was dreamt up by Catholic priests. Go look it up. Yes, the Big Bang theory was dreamt up by a Catholic priest. Just all manner of quackery. There's facts, logic, and wisdom, which is an unmovable center that has no Cartesian coordinate. It would be like the North Star. As constant as the North Star is as they quote from Shakespeare. Not that the North Star is absolutely constant, but it's nearly constant. And constant as the North Star. Science is all the stuff that's spinning around you that a bunch of people agree upon. There's one thing that is fixed. Facts, logic, and wisdom, retroductive methodology, Platonic, to arrive at the closest that you can get possible as to the nature of something. If it's not objectively demonstrable, then you can abduct it. Abduction or retroduction is not induction or deduction, but abduction, i.e. retroduction. Something that is not objectively demonstrable, such as subjective principles of metaphysics, for example. But the whole world has suffered terribly under this idea of the science. There is no such thing as the science. The science is about as real as unicorns, Bigfoot, and leprechauns. My two friends are 6 feet under because their belief in the science. You need to understand how evil that is, to have belief in something that is not some sort of fixed entity. Well, you get a bunch of doctors and PhD people agree upon it. This is the very principle I've been debating from Buddhists, these so-called experts in field theory that don't never define the term energy or field. Last week I showed you the book from Stephen Hawking, the guy that everybody said was a genius. He never defines a field, except you look in the back and you look up field. It says something, I forget what it is, something, but he basically defined field as something. Well, that's really technical. A 5-year-old child could do that. Like, what is this or that? It was something, I don't know, but it's something. That is literally what the back of his book said in the glossary. From Universe in a Nutshell. Look up field in his glossary. Something. I forget what it says after something, but it's really, really, after something, it doesn't say anything. Something that exists that acts upon. Really? It'd be far, far more intelligent to say it's something that's incredibly important. We still don't know what it is. I know it is. A field is an ether perturbation modality. Please stop falling for this fallacy of authority. In debates, there are no authorities. There's only experts and novices. Yeah. I love the fact that the past few years, and I'm not trying to single that out again, talk about all these people that people put authority into. Oh, the person's an authority. They told us to believe something. They say, trust the science. There's nothing wrong with it. How would you know? By definition, it is impossible to have a long-term study on something that has only been out for a few months. Why would I trust you? I mean, you're a bureaucrat, an unelected weasel and a bureaucrat. How dare you? This is the same guy. I'm really not trying to single this guy out again, even though he's so horrifically evil. He actually said that twice in an interview. I am the science! I mean, that just ends it right there. I am the science. I read every comment. Tell me what you think. I'm not going to be swayed on this because I'm right about it. Facts, logic, and wisdom are out there. The science doesn't exist. And that thing that people think is the science is a construct created by a bunch of bureaucrats and PhD, I have a doctoral degree. Where'd you get your degree? That's what they'll do. They'll go on the attack. When you point out all the holes in their nonsense, like, how do you know this is safe? By definition, it's impossible to have a long-term study on this. It's only been out for like a half a year. Oh, how dare you? Where did you get your degree? Oh, harumph, harumph, oh. What's the best way to harumph? Where did you get your degree at? I have a PhD. My articles are peer-reviewed. Oh, you mean people that you kiss their backside and they kiss your backside, they say your paper's good, and you wrote a review on their book or paper last year. It is a great study. If I write a good review on your book, make sure when my book is done next year, you write a good review about my book. Bully! That's the English one, right? And then how it goes, bully! Bully! Bully, bully, bully! That's not really funny. I mean, what I did was kind of funny, at least it was to me. My two friends that are 6 feet under, if they had a thought, which they're not around anymore, I don't think they would think that's funny. But they made a fatal mistake. They believed in the science! There is no such thing as the science. I know I said that a million times in this video. But that's something you really need to understand. There is no such thing as the science. There is not. Never has been, never will be. Period. Capiche? Ясно как смертный грех, as they would say in Russian. Ты понял? Also as they would say in Russian. Wait a minute, I gotta do this before ending the video. Here we go. I got a perfect one. Bully! Bully! Oh, good. My articles are peer-reviewed! Oh, you mean people that you kiss their backside and they kiss your backside, they say your paper's good and you...